Izzy, 27, and I, 26 female, have been friends since birth. We were practically raised together. We were closer in college, but after that we drifted apart a little. I still had a strong bond with her up until recently. She'd been there for me a lot, and I've been there too, so it's tough in this situation. After college, when Izzy was 23, she went on a few dates with Jake, my fiance, but then told him she wasn't interested in anything serious. Even though I was her best friend, I didn't know Jake because she often got asked out, but only a few turned serious, so I knew about her boyfriends but not necessarily her dates. I moved in with Izzy almost a year after that and we got close again. It was after this that I met Jake. We quickly became good friends. I used to talk about him to Izzy a lot, but when I showed her his picture, she recognized him and told me about her dates with him. Friendships were more important to me than any guy back then, so I asked her if it was okay to date him because I liked him a lot. She said she had no problem and joked about it ever becoming a relationship, which I took as a joke. Jake and I became serious very quickly. He's my soulmate. By then though, Izzy and I had lost touch since I moved in with Jake and work became more of a priority. Right until I got engaged, she used to joke to both Jake and me that she didn't think we would be this into each other, and at that time I saw it as funny because Jake is the opposite of me. After I got engaged, she became very weird. She was very shocked and wouldn't believe it. Then later she used to say I was too young to be married and asked if I was sure, but I saw this as just a concern. However, she agreed to be my maid of honor along with my sister. Afterward, I posted on my Instagram about our engagement and people reposted it and congratulated us. But Izzy just captioned it saying, "You better mention me in your vows because he was into me first, ha." Jake felt very uncomfortable, and so did I, but I defended her, saying that it was just Izzy, she often jokes around. But I still told her it was a bit uncomfortable, and she said she was joking. Recently, we hosted a dinner party, and that day, Izzy just kept telling all the friends and family gathered that Jake dated her first. She let me have him and stuff like that. Even after telling her it was not okay, she joked around. Later, I told her that she was crossing my boundaries and that it was not okay, to which she said I was overreacting. Ultimately, I told her not to attend my wedding at all. I've been overthinking a lot after that. Right now, people who know about this are just choosing sides based on who they know more. I'm worried I'm ruining a lifelong friendship when I'm not even right. What if, to her, it really was just a joke and I'm not understanding? But she's not being supportive or positive, which is unfair. I'm confused. Not the idiot. She's too proud to let things go. In her eyes, you found love in a man she dismissed, and that is simply not possible. Hence, she's there. I was here first. In my honest opinion, you made the right choice. Who knows what kind of behavior she'll display when her pride turns into jealousy at a crucial moment. This is your wedding and not a public forum. When someone disrespects you intentionally, just cut them off. It sucks that your friendship is coming down to this, but Izzy is the one forcing the issue, not you. Yep, Izzy sounds like she's the type to wear white to her friend's wedding. I think she loses any right to claim it was just a joke when you've expressed that it makes you uncomfortable and asked her to stop. You have every right to enforce your boundaries, even if that means ending a long friendship. If she were a good friend, she would value your feelings over her need for attention, which is clearly what this is about in my opinion. Also, it's weird that people are choosing sides in this. There's no reason for it, and they really should start behaving like adults. This right here. It's one thing to make awkward jokes, it's another to make awkward jokes constantly. When confronted by OP, the correct reaction should have been, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I didn't realize it was upsetting you, it won't happen again." However, since Izzy doubled down, I bet she knows what she's doing and is very jealous of OP, and anyone choosing Izzy's side has freed up space for OP to invite others to her wedding. So this has been a long thing coming. My soon-to-be husband has a sister, let's call her Mia. Now, Mia and I do not click very well. I'm polite, but I wouldn't say we're friends. I felt his family forced me to make her a bridesmaid or she would be sad. I'm going to be blunt. Mia is fat and very insecure about it. This has led bridesmaid dress shopping to be a nightmare. We could never find something she wanted, and all the other bridesmaids and I liked. So I gave everyone two options to vote on. Option 1 was getting a dress that can be styled multiple ways or picking from a collection so everyone matches, but they will need to pay for it. Option 2 was I would buy everyone's dress, but I chose the dress and my decision was final. My 5 bridesmaids voted and option 2 won, so I picked out a blue strapless dress with a mini slit. I like it and I knew Mia would have an issue with it. I sent a picture to all the bridesmaids and confirmed the right size before I ordered it. This is where it blew up. Mia was angry that I picked a revealing dress. This resulted in an argument where she thought I was a huge jerk, and I told her she could step down if she had issues with the dress. She tried to get the family on her side, but everyone knew I gave them options and had watched me struggle to find something everyone wanted. Edit, she voted for the option where I pay for the dress. I didn't ask her since she and mother-in-law announced she was one of my bridesmaids at a family gathering. The only way to keep peace with the whole family was to give her what she wanted. I've also gone to 4 different shops to find a dress for everyone. Edit, to clarify, she voted for me to buy the dress. Everyone voted for that. You are the idiot in every way. You chose the dress with the sole purpose of bullying her into dropping out. Use your big girl words if you don't want her as a bridesmaid. Don't act like a mean middle school girl. You are a grown adult and this is your wedding. You should be able to properly communicate instead of agreeing just to be passive-aggressive or letting the mother-in-law walk all over you. This will be a disaster. Going against the grain, I say not the idiot. Mia voted for the "you pick, your word is final," aka the one where Mia doesn't have to spend money. She would have voted the other way if she didn't want that. The idiots here are mother-in-law and Mia. Mother-in-law for announcing Mia as a bridesmaid, Mia for being difficult. I'm fat, and if I don't fit the same dress as everyone else, I'd have voted for buying my own from a collection. Mother-in-law and Mia announced her bridesmaid status specifically to force OP. OP's mistake was not stopping it then. Well, that clearly has worked super well. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm not sure where you got that idea, but it's not true. I'm sure we can find you a place in the wedding, but my bridesmaids are already set. Yes, it will be unpleasant, but the best time to set boundaries is the first time someone tries to stomp on them. The longer you let people push you around, the harder it is to stop them later. Everyone's the idiot here. Your mother-in-law for trying to shoehorn Mia as a bridesmaid, and you for not having the backbone to say that you will not have Mia as a bridesmaid. Neither of you is doing Mia any favours by coddling her, instead of enforcing the crucial "not everything is going to go your way" lesson from the start. My wife Whitney, 31, and I, 32 male, have been married for 7 years, and we have a young grammar school-aged daughter together. My daughter's favourite bedtime story is a story I made up about 2 princes who fell in love. It's a fictionalised kiddie version of the love story of me and my first boyfriend. I regret making up the story. My wife handles the bedtime routine now. I found out that my daughter still loves that story and asked her to recite it every night. My wife tells her the story, tucks her into bed, and then cries for the next few minutes. Every night with him. My life was carefree when we were together, but he broke my heart. When we broke up, my wife was a short rebound to take my mind off everything. Protection failed and she got pregnant. We got married because I didn't want our daughter to grow up in a broken home like I did. I thought we were a happy family, but my wife shoves her emotions deep down and smiles for the rest of the world. She's a perfect wife and mother. I overheard her talking to her mother once. She said my boyfriend and I had a real love story and that she knew I didn't love her. Her mom encouraged her to keep the family together and told her that being a wife and mom was a sacrifice. What sucks is that I know that she cries a lot, but I've only ever seen it a handful of times. This is the first time our kid has seen her mama sad. Sir, why have you not told a new story about a prince who lost his first prince love but found true happiness with his princess and their extra beautiful child? Your wife needs to hear that story. You need to be telling your wife that story if it's true. Repairing things with your wife is the priority here. Kids cannot always get what they want, and that is okay. That's not how OP feels. He may, I'm sure he does, love his daughter, but if you read between the lines, he lost his true love, boyfriend, and his wife is not the newfound love of his life. OP explained that the ex was their first love and they were so in love with him. The wife ended up being a rebound after the split, protection failed, and she wound up pregnant. So OP married her because they didn't want the baby to come from a broken home. So I can understand why it would be a bit painful for the wife, especially in knowing that her partner didn't marry her out of love but due to circumstances. Holy crap, LMAO. Now that's a bedtime story. I went from feeling bad for them to just laughing at them. Getting married because the children is always a great decision. It blows my mind that OP wants her to stop crying, but is not willing to do a damn thing to make her feel cherished or loved. I'm so incredibly sad for your wife. She really doesn't have anybody who loves her, does she? You are the idiot, OP, for pretending everything is fine in your home. Yeah, bruh, why are you telling your child a love story about your ex? Your wife isn't happy, you piece of crap. You told your child a love story about your ex. Of course she's going to be miserable. Your marriage is a crumbling hot mess. Your wife is emotionally harming herself to make your kid happy. You married your wife because she got pregnant, and you were only dating because you were on a break with someone who is your great love. After 7 years of marriage, you still consider the other dude the love of your life, and you made up a story that glorifies the love and told it to your kid? Wow. Just wow. I lost my daughter Abby 7 years ago. She was married to Scott and had 3 children with him, who are now tweens and a teen. Scott and my grandkids stayed part of the family, and last year Scott remarried. His current wife is Beth. We all knew Beth for a few years before the wedding, and she was always very friendly, though at times she could be a little pushy. Scott would always handle that, though. After they got married, Beth's pushiness got worse, and Scott appeared to have lost control. Beth was upset when she dropped my grandkids off one day that we hadn't added photos of her to our house and commented as such. Our living room has a display with pictures of our kids and their weddings. She felt her and Scott's wedding should be there. She was upset when my grandkids spent Mother's Day with us and our extended family, and we didn't include her. Scott wasn't invited either. Mother's Day is a bit difficult for him due to a bad relationship with his mother, but Beth said we should invite her too because she's part of the family, and then she said she's one of our kids too. I asked her what she meant, and she told me she's going to be one of our kids now that she's the mother figure for our grandkids. I told Scott what she said, and he was embarrassed and told me he would speak to her. Beth was also upset when my husband posted on Facebook to say something about our kids, and she didn't get mentioned as one of our kids but as Scott's wife. We mentioned Scott and how wonderful he was to Abby and how wonderful he is as a father. We were all together for my grandson's birthday, and he wanted a mom's side photo. Beth attempted to get into the photo, and when Scott tried to remind her, she said she was part of the family now. He pulled her aside and the photo was taken without her. But she told one of my sons after that she felt like we weren't treating her as a daughter, and then said Scott never treated her as a lesser wife. We saw them a little over Christmas, and Beth was upset that we got them a joint gift, for her and Scott, instead of getting her one alone. She told me she's tired of feeling like she's not really family, and she says she feels like we always put Abby first when she's here now. I saw red after this, and I told her she could never take my daughter's place, and the fact that she ever thought she could was outrageous. She told me the kids call her Mom, and they think the world of her, so why wouldn't we? I told her the kids have always called her Beth when I hear them, and she turned around and said that's our fault because the kids should be calling her Mom and they don't. She lost it from there. Beth stormed out, and I explained what happened to Scott. He apologized and left the kids with us so he could speak to her. I think they worked it out, but Beth said I was needlessly cruel, to imply she's not as good as Abby and doesn't deserve to be our daughter. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot, I mean, she sounds unhinged. No logic would suggest she would ever be like a daughter to you, even if your grandkids do consider her a mother figure, now or in the future. That's not a transitive relationship. She is married to your daughter's widower. That's it. There's no familial relationship between you and her, and if she's consistently pushing this gonzo, replace Abby in every aspect of her life agenda, that is honestly kind of scary. It sounds really weird. You've included Beth in what you are comfortable with, but you're not obligated to treat her like your daughter. It's bad enough that Beth is trying to erase Abby as the kid's mother, but to try and replace Abby as OP's daughter is disgusting and disrespectful. Are we sure Scott or Abby didn't cross paths with Beth before Abby died? I'm not saying Scott cheated, but Beth sounds obsessed with becoming Abby or me to save money. I cook and we have a serve yourself policy. The thing is, she will eat a lot more than me. For example, if I made chicken, I would eat only 1 chicken breast and she would have 3. Basically, she eats a lot more than me, and I don't substitute for low-calorie stuff. I won't use skim milk instead of cream, for example. She is overweight and has been going on about how it doesn't make sense that I'm much smaller. I asked if she was joking, and she confirmed that she didn't understand why she was gaining weight. I told her that she eats a lot more than me, so of course she's bigger. This started an argument about how I was shaming her and not being a good host. My son wants me to apologize, but I find it ridiculous, and this is common sense. 3 chicken breasts in 1 meal, and she doesn't know why she's big, and you not being a good host? They live at your place and you cook for them, and she just didn't like the answer to her question. Don't ask if you'll be butthurt about it. Not the idiot and tell her, "Daughter-in-law, I'm sorry my cooking isn't working out for your diet. I'll stop making you and my son's portion. That way you can pay for and cook yourself food and have power over your diet." I wouldn't want to sabotage your weight loss goals somehow. This. It's one thing complaining, but another when she's being cooked for and fed. I was living with my partner and his mum for a while, and I didn't want to eat the type of food she cooked, so my partner and I started cooking for ourselves, and that was that. As a bigger girl who has lost a lot of weight in the past, my experience is that the truth hurts, and she's lashing out at you for saying it. It's one thing internally knowing how you're sabotaging yourself and compartmentalizing it, but it's tough to accept when someone acknowledges that. It sounds like she needs the wake-up call.